Hi, I'm Sandy Ames, hypnotherapist. Are you really ready to learn how you can use the power of your subconscious mind to make rock star changes in your life? Overcome your personal impossible? Let's go. How that works, you will learn over time listening to these podcasts. Now, don't let this work take the place of a talk therapist or a doctor. If you're doing therapy, please keep doing therapy. People who have done that work and then come to me, they're just so far ahead. It just makes this work easier. Working with a therapist and or a doctor in conjunction with the work that we do in hypnotherapy, great, even better. What I will say is often people come into me and they say, I've been in therapy for like 20 years. And after one session, I feel like we did more than I've ever done in 20 years. It happens a lot. And it's not that hypnotherapy is better than therapy. It's not. It's not better. It's a different modality. But what we do is rather than just talk about stuff all day, we make change. We make change. Hypnotherapists are change makers. You can find a hypnotherapist who you may not think is the greatest in the world, but if they know how to hypnotize at all, just like if you can meditate at all, it's going to do some good. So keep at it. Can you hypnotize yourself? Absolutely. Yes, of course, I will teach you that too. We'll learn more as we go, like how to get rich and how to get people to like you and how to play with snakes and spiders if you actually care to do those things and how to lose weight, of course. So let's get started. I teach in stories because words don't teach, only life experience teaches. And so a story becomes sort of a life experience that you have, the way you use your brain when you get into a story. Many hypnotherapists have many different styles. They're all good for different reasons. The way I work, we keep it real. I bring my bullshit meter and you can catch me on mine. It's not typical talk therapy, nor would you want it to be. It's my job to be a master of the subconscious mind, to work with you, observe you, hear you, go beyond hearing, go beyond seeing, and understand how you really are believing this world, yourself in it, and the world itself. Where you tell me you want to go. And when I get a good grasp beyond the bullshit meter, we take you from where you really are to where you really want to go. And it goes pretty rapid fire. And it's always a lot of fun. If you're still in the I really need to vent a lot phase, process, maybe try therapy first for a while, like 20 years, and then come to me. But we can skip a few decades of therapy if you feel like you're ready for that. Always consult with your doctor before doing anything. There's my disclaimer. There's nothing to be afraid of about hypnosis. It's literally you sit there or lay there and I talk and it feels amazing. So these podcasts are going to go in, I don't know if you want to call them seasons or phases, but the first chunk of these podcasts is going to be mostly teaching you a whole bunch of stuff, getting you up to speed with where this practice is. We'll get to know each other. After we've covered a whole lot of material that I think you're going to love and is going to be life-changing, and it gets us all sort of on the same page, really set up for really massive and major change. The second big chunk of podcasts that I do will include a whole lot more of interactive stuff. I'll bring in other professionals, other hypnotherapists. I'll work one-on-one with people and you get to observe it. I'll also do groups at a time. So it's going to morph over time. Today's topic is basically getting to know each other and, of course, penis envy. In time, we'll follow specific people through marriages and through divorces and through breakups and through lawsuits and through job interviews. We'll get to know people. You'll get to experience their journeys in real time as we go. So all of that is coming. And people say, okay, so can I use the power of my mind to grow a new limb? Well, some people actually have, but we call that an accident or a defect somehow. Is it? Either way. I get your point. No, you're not going to grow a new limb through hypnotherapy. You know what? Maybe it's possible. I'm not going to get in your way on that. But what I can say is people have requested that I help them grow their breasts. And guess what? It worked. But we're really not here for magic tricks. Although when you recognize the power of your mind, the power of your subconscious mind, which is the area in which we work, it will feel like magic. And the way your life is going to change, other people may very well look at you and think that it's magic. So today we're not going to grow a new limb. We may get to the end of all the episodes of this podcast and we still will have not grown a new limb. But if you listen through this entire podcast, however long it goes, my promise to you is you will grow a new pair. I'd love to just go ahead now and credit Esther Hicks and Abraham and my son Bodie, who's 11, who taught me one of the greatest things ever, probably 5,000 of the greatest things ever. One of the things he taught me, which I talk about and practice every day, is he said, Mom, you know what I learned? I learned that you can always start your day over. So when this bad thing happened to me earlier, I just sat down and I told myself that I can start this day over, and I did, and I felt so great. And I was like, yeah. So I'm going to teach you how to do that over and over. And my 3-year-old, I got to credit her for most of the things I say too and do, because she's my teacher. The other day, she said, me went potty. I swear to God, me went potty. So I'm a good mother. So I said, I went potty. And she looked at me and her eyebrows got closer together and went up in the center. And she went, no, you didn't. It was me. And I'm like, it was I. She's like, it wasn't you, it was me. I'm like, oh no. Grammar police. I call myself the grammar police, but then I started working with a lot of people in the UK and they laugh at my grammar. And I don't care. You know what else my 3-year-old taught me? In the bath the other day, she said, I say banana really well. And I thought, oh, she said, well, instead of good, I'm so proud of myself. I say banana really well. Watch, banana, 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 banana. I don't say nana because I'm 3 now. So I say banana, banana. And she was so proud of her. That one lesson, if you can get that one lesson, this 3-year-old was basking in appreciation and joy and present in feeling her mouth and hearing the sounds. When you can find your way to there in any moment, I say banana well, me go potty. When you are basking in that kind of presence, that kind of appreciation, that's it. That's the magic. And that's the way back from feeling pretty crappy to feeling really great. So find your banana. It's not why this is called penis envy. We'll still get to that. And again, we'll have podcasts that are all about how to calibrate your vibration. And if you don't speak that language, it's how to get from bad emotions to good emotions, because those good emotions give you chemicals, and those chemicals change your brain, and those chemicals change your body. And if you want to lose weight, it's going to melt the fat away. No, I'm not kidding. And of course, there's scientific evidence to back it all up. So all that stuff is coming in podcasts that are ahead. Oh, you know what else my 3-year-old taught me? She taught me that it's not called a pool. You know, the place where you swim, a pool. It's not called a pool. It's called a cool. I said, well, you do get cool in the pool, but it's called a pool. No, you're wrong. It's a cool. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm right. It's a pool, not a cool. And I said, just say pool. She said, cool. I said, just say pool. She said, cool. I said, can you say pool? Cool. I'm like, this is not cool. Just say pool. I just want, can you say pool? No. It's not a word. I can't say it. I said, can you say poop? Well, she loved it. And so she smiled and said poop, as if she were looking at me and I gave her permission to say a bad word. That's great. You can say poop. Yes. Can you say poo? Ha ha ha. Another funny one. Poo. I said, can you make the sound of the letter L? Oh, great. Say poo, poo, oh. You just said pool. I said cool. If we can get anything good out of this, perhaps just the fact that there's no pee in her pool, we win. I know she's 3. There's totally pee in the pool. And, you know, really looking at her say banana in the tub, I am aware that there is also only pleasant stuff in that water. You know, it's your subconscious mind that makes it so you don't go in the pool or really in the bed, right? Because when you're sleeping, it's the subconscious mind that makes sure you're not going to go in the bed. It runs all 12 systems of your body. You know the 12 systems. You don't have to name them all. You knew them even before you knew their names, right? The digestive system, the nervous system, the endocrine system, the musculoskeletal system, the respiratory system, the reproductive. So there are 12 of those, all run by your subconscious mind. Over time, I'm going to teach you so much about how your subconscious mind works, how the brain works, and how you make changes this fast. When we as hypnotherapists work with children who wet the bed, we can literally bang that out in one session. Sometimes it takes more. Often it takes more. Everybody's on their own timeline, but it doesn't take long. And it can be done in one session to literally take a kid who's been going in the bed for years, mom's tried everything, to that not happening anymore. I'm aware that I have a very distinctive personality. So if I've offended you in any way, or in the future, if I offend you, you're welcome. It's really good to stir things up. And I promise you cannot hurt me, and I cannot hurt you. Michael Singer is an amazing author, and he talks in one of his books, what's the book? Untethered Soul. He talks about how a person can be so free that even if they were physically captured and put in prison, they'd still be free. And when you look at it from that perspective, now you look around the world and you see like what Dave Matthews describes as ants marching, people just kind of going through their lives, realizing they're a prisoner in what looks like freedom, right? Like the song Desperado, your prison is walking through this world all alone. You're going to learn through these podcasts to become so free, truly free, that what I just said, you will know viscerally to be true. You can't hurt me, and I can't hurt you. And if anything anybody ever says or does feels like it hurts, there's work to be done. So there's work to be done for all of us, including me. I've had plenty of clients give me, that proverbial punch in the gut, and I'm human and it hurts. But the difference is, and this is what I want you to learn, the difference is that discomfort only sticks when you judge your own feelings. You can have negative emotion. You will. You always, always, always will. Always, always will. I don't care how evolved you get. You will always have negative emotion. That's a good thing. It's just an indicator. Negative emotion is just an indicator. The issue and the place where we can really do this work is, this is a quote that I wrote down as I was teaching this to one of my clients. She had an epiphany and she said it back in her own words. And I love the way she said it. She said, so I get it. I can just tell myself, don't be judgmental about that judgmental voice, whether it's your own or someone else's. Don't be judgmental about that judgmental voice. That's it. So you have the negative emotion. So it's just a thing. It's then your judgment of it, whether it's your own or it came from someone else. It's you feeling it. So if you say something to offend me, no, I don't like it. But the one thing I have, and this is my promise, I'm giving it to you. It is a tool. You will lose the tool, and then I'll give it to you again, and I'll give it to you for free. And then you're going to say, I gave you a defective one. And so then I'll give you another one again and again. But what I'm going to give you is the tool that allows you to notice when you feel negative emotion. And when you notice it, I don't care if someone else gave it to you. It's not true anyway, but whatever, however you got it, you notice it. You have the tools to understand that negative emotion does not hurt. Hear this. It does not hurt. It just is. And what hurts is your judgment of it. You think it's bad. And that judgment of it is what screws you up. My only wish and hope is to inspire within you the impulses to see and hear and feel so clearly your own inner guidance. That's the only thing I ever can do if I'm doing my job, really doing my job. Let these conversations stir things up for you. Have you ever been stirred up before? I know you have, because if you're avoiding it, it means you don't like it, which means you've experienced it. So you've been stirred up before by someone. I know with 100% certainty you survived it. I know you survived it. So you've already survived it without the tools. Your mind has so much power. And if you're thinking right now that other people might do powerful things with their minds, but your problem is different, let me point something out to you. That is power right there. Your problem is different and as big as it seems. It is as big as it seems. That's because you believe it so much, it's true. And that same part of you that can do that, that can create something that's bigger than you, bigger than anyone else could possibly understand. You are so convinced that it's true that it is. And that is exactly the part of your mind we are going to use to create new and bigger things. Only these new and bigger things won't be a problem. They'll be your solution. And clearly, you have the power to do it. Have you ever heard of the saying, okay, well, if God is so powerful, can God create a rock that is so heavy that God can't lift it? That's you, my friend. I love the quote from my client who just gave it back to me this way. She says to herself now over and over, just don't be judgmental about that judgmental voice. So here's lesson number one. It's a story dear to my heart because, well, it's personal. It's very personal. And it's about penis envy with a twist. I love knowing, and I only just learned this recently, that a dear friend of mine saw the video because I posted it on Instagram. This guy is strong and he's amazing and he's wildly successful in business. He's physically a powerhouse and he's got a brilliant mind. So he saw the video on penis envy that you're about to hear. But he didn't tell me. His 18-year-old daughter told me that she liked the video, and she told me that her dad had sent her a link to it and said, must watch this, said that it was the answer to so many things she had been asking about, things that had been occurring in her life, and this video would answer it all for her. And so then she proceeded to share with me how it really impacted her personally. Nothing in the world touches my heart like that or makes me happier than just hearing how this young woman found so much resolve for herself and how her life has changed from what she's learned from this just couple minutes of a story. It's a story of my son and his penis. And even though it's about a boy and his penis, this father, my friend of mine, shared it with his 18-year-old daughter because he understood the powerful and profound lesson in what's otherwise a kind of hilarious, but very actually true story. So he learned and she learned, and it absolutely warms my heart. People are really getting it, and you can too. So I'm going to roll the video after the story. We're going to come back and discuss some thoughts around it and how, with what you've understood from it, you can start to see yourself in your own future, pausing, noticing, acting and reacting differently. Here's the video. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Sandy Ames, hypnotherapist. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just make sure that nobody ever says anything mean to us ever again? Well, it's possible. And in fact, you can do it and learn it right now in an instant. You see, because once you redefine what it means, when people say stuff to you or even think stuff about you, when you've redefined what it means, no longer do you need to change it because it doesn't hurt. It's kind of like saying, oh man, I wish people would stop wearing jeans. What do you care what they're wearing? They just walk by wearing what they wear and you probably don't even notice it most of the time. That's what it's going to feel like. Here's how this works. This is a true story of when I told my family, revealed for the first time, that I was pregnant. And my grandmother said, great, when's the bris? And I said, well, there's not going to be a bris. What do you mean? A Jewish boy has to have a bris? Well, now I'm going to take a pause in this story. I do not suggest you parent like I do, nor do I suggest whether or not you circumcise your child. You do it your way, and that's going to definitely be the right way. This is just what happened. Don't take my opinion. Please keep yours. Okay. What do you mean he's not going to have a bris? Every Jewish boy has to have a bris. Well, he's not going to be circumcised. What? I think lightning actually did strike. My father says, well, what's he going to do in the locker room when he's different than everybody else? I said, Dad, are you literally saying that I should, and this is my opinion, I should perform unnecessary plastic surgery that I believe is irreversible on my child for the purpose of his being like everyone else? Yes. Okay, well, I appreciate how you feel. I'm going to choose instead to teach my child self-esteem. Cut to years later, now Bodhi is of locker room age, and I pulled him aside and I said, listen, Bodhi, because we've had this discussion many times, how children don't necessarily know how to express themselves really well. Adults too. But a little boy might pull a little girl's hair and it might mean that he really likes her. Yeah, Mom, yeah, I understand that. Okay, because we had that conversation. I said, you may find in the locker room that theirs look different than yours, and they might say something to you or tease you, and I'm going to ask you to find compassion within yourself, because what's going to be coming at you is a child who doesn't know how to express himself very well, and he may have his own discomfort, and that has nothing to do with you. He can't get what you have because his was taken from him. And again, this is just an opinion. I said, you have something that they don't have and they'll never have again, as far as I know. I don't know if they can, maybe they can make that happen. But so find compassion. And if or when somebody makes fun of you in the locker room, these are some responses you can choose. You can say thank you. You can say okay. And then you just stop. And he goes, okay, mom, sure. And now, of course, it's many years later, and there has never been an issue. What's that? Oh, you want me to cut out the circumcision bit? Oh, just a piece of it, just a small piece. Where? Which end? The front, from the front end? All right, I'll go look at the video and I'll. Well, there it is, lesson number 1. You can shut this podcast now or move on to the next one. If you choose to stay with this, to allow that lesson to absorb, to not go on to too many other things and say, yeah, that was cool, and then move on and then sort of lose it. If you just stay with this for a moment and just ask yourself, what can I relate to? Or if I change some words or imagery, how can I relate to something in that message? And then you can ask yourself, you can pause this and then write down your answers even better. Then you can ask yourself, is there somebody in my life I know who could benefit from that lesson? Now, don't go therapying people. Just think about it. Because sometimes when we think about other people and their problems and things they need to fix, right? It's easier, right? It's easier to give to someone else than it is to ourselves, or to recognize a problem in someone else, right? Is there someone in your life who could benefit from this? It's not going to necessarily be a parallel story, but the core of the lesson. You're smart enough to figure that out. And then how, just in your mind, you might teach them if you were their teacher, because we learn from teaching. Please don't call them and fix them. Just in your mind. Maybe you can pause and picture, or just pretend to picture or conjure a certain specific future situation where this might apply. Someplace you know you're going to go, people you know you're going to be with, a situation you're going to be in where you can apply this, and something you want to tell yourself in that moment to bring yourself back to your own centered, calm space. Maybe write down your thoughts, something you've learned, or write it better than I said it in your own words, even better. Because you don't have to do that. But if you take 5 minutes and go into that in your mind, you've benefited from the time you've spent listening to this. And change already occurs, and we haven't even done hypnosis yet. Or have we? Thank you so much for joining me on, I don't know what this is, journey. Please reach out. Send me your questions. Let me know if you want to interact live at some point, or not live. We can record it and then put it live, or we can do it live. I've been doing Instagram live. Please be a real part of this conversation with me. This is so much fun. I'm looking forward to more. Thank you, and have a great day.